just kind of using a small rogue unit to scout things out, and should be running into problems if they run into these tanks. And here we go. It looks like there's going to be a big battle right now. LucifroN is setting up his tanks. MorroW would have a big problem if he engaged, so he's probably going to retreat at this point. Combat shield not yet upgraded. Looking at the, looks like +1 being researched for MorroW, and Banshees coming out for LucifroN, so he should be able to get in here and do some major harassment. Also researching Cloak back at the base of MorroW. He does not have, besides some Marines, he doesn't have any anti-air, and well, he actually does have 2 command centers, so he will be able to throw a few scans down, though he'll lose the mules in the process. MorroW should really get a med back out here. This Marauder is heaving right now. It does have 5 kills, is a corporal, but only has 4 HP left. A single blast from one of these Marines will take him out, and LucifroN now with just a whole bunch of tanks out on the field. Kind of clumped together at this point. I don't really favor this clumping of tanks positions. It allows, you know, like, it basically, they have a really hard time if the Marauders stim and just kind of run in there and surround them. They won't get as many shots off as if they are spread out just a little bit more, but looks like more barracks is going down for LucifroN, and that Banshee is going to be, is that Banshee on the map right now? There it is, kind of doing some harassment out here. These Marines are going to clean up pretty nicely, so this Cloak really important for LucifroN. He should try to keep that alive. Does have an SCV here, can try to heal something, though the SCV is about to go down. Gonna try to blast away at these Marauders. I'm trying to keep my eye on the map right now to see if anything crazy is going on. The Cloak is still being researched. Oh, finally coming down, but the scan going down from from MorroW, and down goes that Banshee. The second one is coming out soon. MorroW, I think, gonna be retreating, not gonna push ahead at this point, and just trying to figure out where his opponent is. LucifroN moving in with his second Banshee. Cloak is ready, just letting that kind of charge up, and here comes the massive push from MorroW. Doesn't have combat shield, but does have +1 for his ground units. LucifroN, on the other hand, has not had any upgrades yet. He is researching combat shield and stim himself. Going to be getting some more tanks out onto the field and getting concussive shell. Concussive shell already researched from MorroW. MorroW is balling up right now and going to try to push in. Where on earth? There is that Banshee trying to do some harassment, but the missile turret already up. So the Banshee harassment going to be not going to do that much good. MorroW throwing a missile turret right in the middle of his supply line. Here is that huge ball by MorroW, and I don't know if he has a starport yet, or if he even, there is a starport. We'll love to see him get some medvacs out there. That will really help out the MM and make this just a really dangerous ball to go up against. And if he can micro this ball really well, it's going to be pretty darn tough. That's a pretty intimidating force. Looking at the army count, MorroW is pretty far up, 133 to 108. The tanks are clumped together. They're going to get taken out pretty quickly, and now both MorroW just trying to make sure that, you know, he is scouting out his opponent, staying in the group, trying to make sure that no one gets caught off guard, and does have a good mix of units. Right now he has 32 Marauders, 22 Marines on the field, and, you know, this is, right now I am in favor of MorroW taking this. Once those medvacs come out, it's going to be that much more difficult for LucifroN to hold his ground. Looking at the production tab, LucifroN does this lone Banshee was out here, not going to do that much damage, and another Banshee right now trying to do some sort of harass, but, you know, not going to have enough. The scan, he does have 2 command centers and can throw down multiple scans, so at this point probably just saving those scans for the Banshees and just trying to let his SCVs mine everything away. Both players are pretty even now in the income tab. MorroW did have a head start, and MorroW finally adding tanks as well to supplement his army. Both players just trying to keep control of these Xel'Naga Watchers. Very, very critical on Blistering Sands to have some sort of control here. Medvacs are out on the field, and this mostly tank army, this kind of tank biomix for LucifroN, I think, is just not going to be enough once the engagement happens. Both players just trying to pump out and mass as much as possible. MorroW going to be taking his third base. I think LucifroN is not in the best position at this point. Really just has to defend and turtle, trying to harass with those Banshees, but not going to be able to do enough. If he had come in here, might have been able to pick off a whole bunch of these. Supply was just kind of spread out by MorroW all over the map, just throwing them down. And here we go. Finally, the engagement in the center. Tanks are set up. Scans are going down on both sides. When is the dash in going to happen? The units are in front of the tanks, going to try to do maybe some crazy type of flank going on, or trying to get some sight right now. This lone medvac providing the sight for the other tanks. A standstill right now. Nobody wants to move. Who's going to make the first? It'd be funny to watch one of these guys just rush in ahead and kind of pull everyone out and, you know, kind of juke it out. Vikings coming in for LucifroN. These are very important to take out. Oh, this medvac is on hold position, and will it go down? No, just barely able to. Oh, it does go down with that final shot from the Vikings. And LucifroN going to slowly be pushing his tanks forward, but MorroW does get one in there. I think LucifroN should try to spread out his tanks as much as he can, slowly edge up and push out if he can. Try to, you know, run a few of these Marauders and try to snipe out this single tank so that he can try to push his tanks ahead too. More units coming in, more tanks and Vikings as well. And that we're starting to see somewhat of a mirror match. However, MorroW is going to be pushing in pretty soon as he is maxed out right now. And here come more. So pretty much both on the same side. It does look like LucifroN has a lot more medvacs, but I'm not sure if that's really going to help him out. He just doesn't have as many ground units as MorroW. I'd actually expect MorroW now going to be pushing in, dashing in, and just trying to take out that tank with a few Marauders. Good move by MorroW, and is able to run back and heal with his medvacs. MorroW, meanwhile, is completely maxed out at this point, just has a few more units coming in here, and going to be going in with a flank attack. This is a very good move from MorroW if he can pull it off. Does have that tower right there, and here comes the push in from both sides. LucifroN sees MorroW retreating, and going to be pushing in ahead. Might not be the best idea, as it looks like MorroW's trying to set up some sort of flank attack. Trying to follow the action right now. Tanks are being set up right now as, oh, they go down pretty quickly. Massive fire going on in the middle. Tanks are going to start blasting away. LucifroN in a much better position right now. He was able to get his Marines ahead of the tanks and set them up. So looks like almost all the ground forces are decimated. But here comes the tank drop. Here comes the drop from MorroW, dropping right on top of those tanks and running in from behind. Oh, and LucifroN with the GG. So great job by MorroW with that flank attack. Awesome job there, coming in and just able to kind of traded forces. LucifroN felt like he was ahead, but had his tanks just rained on by another tank as well in the forest. So great game from the two players. MorroW able to pull ahead in the early game with that fast expansion and let him mass up just that much faster. So that is game one, which goes to MorroW, and I will be casting game two shortly. This is JCS StarCraft, and I'm signing off.